What's going on, fam? We're back. Today, we are going to talk about the third quarter of Trump 2.0. Now, y'all know we got a crap load of stuff to talk about, but we're gonna try and give you the how do we say it, the Cliff Notes version.
There you go.
The meat and
Yeah, so
potatoes.
we're gonna give you the Cliff Notes version.
Because I was gonna say, don't say highlights.
No, they low lights. So, I'll say for myself, for me, I'm still waiting on America to be great again. So, we on our way, or
Well, it
I mean,
depends on
because
who
that's
you
what
are.
Define great.
Right, and depends on America. Who define America?
are we even united anymore? I mean, do
No.
we
Anymore.
call ourselves the United States?
I don't think so.
Should we have ever?
Yeah,
I mean, for us.
yeah.
So,
Good question.
I think that there are a few things, in my opinion, that jump out to me. And since we did the last update, of course, tons of stuff has changed. First thing I want to talk about, if y'all don't mind, the economy.
Sure.
Mhm.
Good news, right?
Since you mentioned it, B, go ahead. Tell me what you think of the economy in this.
The past couple months, few
yeah,
months.
yeah, since January.
I mean, well, let's see. Tariff. For one, I think that's having a good impact on us, not only on a domestic level, but a global level.
You said a good impact?
Oh, negative.
Oh,
I was
gonna say.
sarcastic.
Oh,
You
wow.
gotta
I
catch
was
that
I was waiting for him to
sarcasm.
finish.
You
I was
gotta
waiting for him
catch
to
that
finish.
sarcasm. Yeah, you gotta catch my sarcasm.
Oh, yeah.
Because
okay.
I mean,
Because I'm looking at him like, okay, this show gonna take a turn.
because I mean, internally, what is it doing? The prices, the housing market. No one is confident. Let's see, our president is downplaying inflation. I think if we go simplest to the gas station, the grocery store, you see inflation. We've been seeing that for beyond this quarter
Mhm.
since things kind of started when he walked through those doors.
But remember, he said grocery
What
prices was gonna go down on
Day one.
Yeah, eggs was gonna go down on
Day one.
I just
Okay.
bought some $8 grapes. But as
$8.
I digress.
Did Jesus pick them?
No,
And it probably wasn't even a whole pound.
it was like 0.94.
Yeah, I'm telling
Somebody
you,
that
man.
ate
It's
off.
just- you better eat them. I got to taste a bushel of these before I leave. Make sure they good.
But again, what was it? Back in Biden's presidency, I don't think we were paying this type of tax or whatever you were going to call it on groceries. And then on the outside, how are we pissing off China?
Well, okay, we gon'
Yeah, you want to
we gonna
save
get
that
to
there,
that.
but it's doing great for a
I
short
did.
question.
Yeah, okay. Grocery prices, in case you guys didn't know, grocery prices have gone up approximately 3% since Trump has come back.
You said up, not
Up.
down.
Up.
Okay.
Unos dos tres. I don't want ice coming at me.
Hey,
So
you're legal.
3%.
You got
Okay.
watch. Don't come in. You gonna kick the door
Yeah,
down.
because we
you
can talk
Jay.
about that part too. I have something to say, Blaine.
You mentioned tariffs, D, and that's another thing. Carl, what's your take on the tariffs and how they are affecting us?
I think the tariff issue, if you want to call it an issue, is ignorant because and people are ignorant about it. If you say to somebody, we're going to impose a tariff, and what that's going to do is bring jobs back to America because it's going to be so expensive for importers to bring their goods in, then they're going to be forced to bring the jobs here and let people make these same widgets, whatever, in this country. Well, any economist, not Trump, not any of his people, but an economist, and I don't care what that economist is in terms of political affiliations, they will tell you tariffs are going to impact the people on this soil, not the people that are bringing the goods in.
For real?
And being a grad of Wayne State University with a bachelor's degree in economy,
There we go.
I will say this. One of the things that people don't realize is tariffs are essentially a tax.
They are a
on
tax.
the consumer. So, yeah, the cost for them to import the goods is going to be more on the importer, but who do you think ultimately the price is going to be passed on to? That tax, the consumer. And I think because here in the United States, we have this thing called wordplay. And all you need is for one particular group to create a narrative about a word, and they can make it positive or they can make it negative.
True.
You know, the Republicans have made tariffs positive. It's not positive. And I blame, Carl, you mentioned, ignorance. I blame that on people, educating
I
themselves.
blame it. This is the one, and I'll say this, man. I know everybody talks about Republican, Democrat. First of all, the Trump ilk aren't necessarily Republicans, because when we could really back in the day when I say back in the day, prior to 2016, have political discourse about political parties, there were different ideologies. Everybody, you could find good and evil on both sides. It doesn't make a difference.
True.
These people here are those who don't want to educate themselves.
Ignorance is bliss.
They want to blindly follow someone who has an ideology of white supremacy. So that's a whole
something that they believe
something
in.
that they believe in.
Yeah.
So whatever he says is going to be gospel. So as you said, an economist, anybody, I'm not downplaying your degree. Seriously. But if you took economy in high school,
I did. I got an A in the class.
you would understand what's going on, and they can't even get those.
Wait a
basic
minute, if you paid
concepts.
attention.
Yeah.
Well, if you got an A like B.
Yeah. So I get it. I can keep up with you.
I'll tell you like this. I was a C student, and I think I would have got.
See,
Mhm.
we good.
So it's
you pass, you understand.
It's okay. My thing is, when you don't educate yourself and then you blindly they don't even care at this point. Because even if, let's say, for example, this was to work and we stopped paying for goods and services, and these countries said, okay, well, we can't sell it because we're not selling it to the United States anymore because they're not buying it because the tax we pass on to them, they won't pay. Okay, now we're going to start building these things here. How long is that going to take?
Exactly. Because the infrastructure, even on the automotive front, to create new plants, you're talking about anywhere from 5 to 7 years for that stuff to get up and running.
So I'm broke now.
It's going to take longer.
It's going to take longer than that. And it's going to cost more money.
Because remember, I work at construction, and a good tariff little story, a lot of the stuff that you see, these big rooftop equipment that gets delivered in to our country from overseas, that stuff gets tariffed. So if you want to build a new automotive facility, 40,000 square foot.
So you got to bake that into your cost.
You got to get a new air compressor from where? China. Where you going to get the air compressor from?
And China is like, okay, since y'all want to put tariffs on us, and
or you can get it from Canada.
We're going to put tariffs on y'all too.
Yeah, you can get it from
so
Canada.
in essence, the tariffs that he has imposed are creating a trade war.
And let me ask this. Those construction workers that use those cranes and such that are imported from China and other places, approximately how much do they make?
Well, post or pre?
No, either one.
Let's say hourly journeyman rate, I give you that. Billable is going to be $90 an hour, so they might take home $45, $50 out of that. But now you're kicking that cost of that inflated compressor up maybe 25, 30%. That compressor is not cheap. That's like $130,000.
So is that going to cut down on what they get paid?
There.
So when the owner has to pay an extra $25,000 to get his new plant up, you got to cut costs somewhere. No overtime for your workers.
So these jobs, these good paying jobs that are promised from these tariffs.
But wait, it is even better.
Okay.
Because you mentioned the word ICE. A lot of these construction workers.
Oh, yeah.
Also, not being mean, but you know the deal. I work in construction. A lot of them are not documented. So now you've cut your labor force down by a percentage. You've raised costs. How are you going to build this plant?
But when it comes to those, you haven't seen them do any raise on these construction sites. You've seen them at stadiums. You've seen them
that Hyundai plant,
parks. Well, we'll
they coming.
That.
So okay, but and I'm before we even get to ICE. Okay, no, including ICE.
It's all in
so
one big swoop of soup.
Let's say we lose part of that workforce due to the crackdown on immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, when we're passing those costs on, so now how much are these good people, good hardworking Americans that need jobs? How much are they gonna make?
You're gonna see a percentage, maybe. If I had to guess, it's gonna cut 10 to 20%. Because remember, it's higher cost to do the
I
work
think
you're
more than
doing.
that.
I was gonna say
That's just
I
a
was
You're
rough
gonna
gonna
go
say
from
more than
estimate.
making $45 an hour to $22.50.
And guess what? Overtime. We could talk about the no tax on overtime.
Well, yeah.
So we'll work you 38 hours a week, and we'll just have different.
You're gonna get capped. And a lot of these projects like that plant, if you can't get your cars from China, you need to do it in America and all those parts. It's gonna be a shortage. It's gonna be a bottleneck.
So
So how you gonna do it
now,
with no overtime?
so now, because we've brought these jobs back to America,
Mm-hmm.
and with all the financial circumstances we just discussed, I go from having a good paying job of $120,000 a year down to about 70.
Or you cut your workforce and then you keep X amount of people still making that pay and you just fire.
So
I
we
don't know,
still,
20%.
so we still
yeah,
will
you
need
could do
jobs.
that. You still,
Okay,
you still
so,
could do
okay.
that.
So the thing about tariffs, which for me is something I still can't grasp. Correct me if I'm wrong. When we go back to civics,
Ooh.
Congress controls the purse strings, correct? So Congress,
Typically, or
no, I mean,
And
yeah.
civics is an 8th grade class. just
so
for those who did not
here's my
complete the year.
thought. Trump came in and he imposed these tariffs, but it didn't get approved by Congress. So I'm saying to myself, is that legal? Well, they do give the president the ability to do certain things with statutes that they have in the Constitution. So what Trump
sir.
did was impose the tariffs under one of those statutes called the Emergency Economic Powers Act. Now, it's still in question because the whole tariff thing is going to go through the legal system.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
eventually.
it went through
Yeah.
the local courts and now it's
said, "Wait a
going to the
minute."
Supreme Court.
Yeah. Everybody said,
His
wait
buddies.
a minute.
Yeah. Supreme Court, who I think, what is it, 9-3 edge that they have? I mean, excuse me, 6-3.
It's pretty red. It's pretty red
Okay.
in there.
So that being said, they are fast tracking this. Trump and his people have said, okay, well, let's take it to the Supreme Court. So they fast tracked it. Reason they fast tracked it, which I found to be very interesting, is keeping in mind, if they find the Supreme Court says it, okay, it's illegal, you can't do it. All the money that those tariffs have generated, it's got to go back to the countries. So that's the idea behind them fast tracking. I think they're going to hear it in the next month or so, or whatever. But in the meantime, they haven't stopped them. So the tariffs are still rolling. So I say to myself, do we think, Carl, let me ask you, do you think that Supreme Court is going to rule in his favor on these tariffs?
Yes.
Okay. B, what about you?
Of course.
So now it goes to question for me, what is going to be, because if we look back in this last, year, or even back to Trump's first administration, Supreme Court has been just giving it to him, whatever he wants. And now I have to ask myself, what is going to be the legacy of this Supreme Court based upon the rulings that they've handed down?
Legacy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't use that. I'm more so forecasting economic turmoil versus a legacy.
No, but I say that because
I think it's
what we're going to
negative.
see, and this is just, the gospel according to Eugene Mitchell Jr.
Mhm.
I think what we're going to see is this Supreme Court is going to go down as one of the worst in history. Because we used to have, kind of like the presidency, we used to have an air of reverence
We used to be a proper
for
country.
the president. There was reverence about Supreme Court justices. Now they're nothing more than pawns or puppets.
So when you say legacy, it kind of makes me chuckle because there's nothing about any of this that speaks to legacy. It only speaks to right now.
Yeah, the here and now.
And one of the things that proves that out is you have this same administration, their ilk, trying to tell you history doesn't matter. They're
I forgot about that.
They're either trying to rewrite history or they're trying to suppress it
and erase it altogether.
Right. We don't have to talk about that. That shouldn't be taught.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time.
Why
things
y'all
have
talking about the
things
bad
have
stuff?
progressed.
Yeah,
But
get out the past.
Talk about the good stuff.
But at the same time, you are saying this is the greatest president of all time, and we're going to do this.
I didn't say
So,
that.
but they're saying
Yeah, I'm
that.
just.
And that's the thing. So, which one is it? Do you want to? You say you want legacy, but you don't speak to legacy of others, and then the way you operate, it has nothing. I'm not even thinking about what's going to happen when I'm gone. That's the way it is. It's like
Mhm.
everything I'm doing is for right now.
Let them deal with that.
Fair.
One of the things too that and B, you tell me how you feel about this with the tariffs. I think it had a profound effect on the stock market because of
Well,
all the
yep.
waffling that the president was doing.
Mhm.
You know, one day this is what I'm gonna charge the country 300%. That's what their tax. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
tariff's gonna go up.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, stock market dips. Then he comes back and says, "Well, no, might be 100%." Now the stock market is
Boop.
back up. But in the
Yep.
meantime, what I'm seeing is for the heavy hitters that have stock,
Mhm.
they making money.
Yeah, and we talked about this not on the show, but between ourselves. When you talked about legacy, I want to rewind to that and tie this in. It's insider trading, basically. That's my 2 cents of
Not
it.
basically.
And that's that's your legacy right there for the people that are in cahoots with all of this.
Yep.
They're making a lot of money.
Mm.
Trump has lost a lot of money in this presidency, but
we
how
gon-
much
we
has
gon'
he
get- we gon-
made?
yeah, we're
So
gonna
they
get to
try to
that.
air out the fact he's losing money, but on the same time, he's making big money. He's created a cryptocurrency that he's pushing and trying to inflate into our economy.
Some people are saying
Nobody's
up to
really
30
talking
billion.
about that. But thank you.
I've
So
heard 30
again,
billion being bandied
that's
about.
the legacy they're gonna see. What are we gonna see? Probably a recession. And again, like with the stock market, I thought this would be a good time for me, and I'm scared to look at my portfolio because some days it's green and other times it's very bloody and red.
Mhm.
And that's for a lot of people. But for those on the inside, you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So you know when to sell, when to short sell, when to buy, when to hold. So it's gonna always be essentially green for you, and they got the dip, all of that.
So
Same with
then
cryptocurrency.
when you say insider trading, then you have to say that market manipulation plays a part in it,
Oh,
which
yeah.
to me
Yeah.
is as plain as the nose on your face. How could people not? Maybe they saw it and just didn't want to, recognize it for what it was, but that's what he was doing. And I'm
They're
not
gonna
going
keep doing
I'm
it
not going to
till
call him smart like Trump.
No.
No, he's not. So he's doing what people are telling him to do.
well, yeah,
And it
because those
sounds
people
good.
gonna make money too. It's
It's
all
all the
a
people
big
that are making
powwow.
because here's the thing. Those people that are making money are his friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are his supporters. So if I have a large stock portfolio, I can, I'm making money, which is a Republican staple. Make as much money as you can,
Yes.
and
America.
and that
keep it.
that can be
Exactly.
good, and like I said, that's can be good or bad. I'm not going, make any disparaging marks on that. But in this particular administration, it's the rich who are benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Now, I can sell it to people that don't even know what stock is by saying we're going to make America great again. We're going to bring jobs back.
Costs
We're
are
going
going
to
to go
we're going to
down.
get rid of these illegals that are infiltrating our border. You can say all of that to people that don't, that still go to our outhouse, and they're going to buy it. Yes, great. That's right. That's what it's all about. You in Appalachia, you in you'll
I wasn't gonna
never
say that.
West Virginia.
you
It's
will
true.
always the Virginians.
never
Mm.
get to that level. You won't do it. The best you can look to do is, and some of these people graduate high school
Stop the inbreeding.
and
How
it's
about
not.
that?
But that's
Sorry,
hard
West
to do.
Virginia.
I mean,
No, you're not.
no, I'm not because those
Go
that's
live
his
there.
base.
No.
I'm not sorry,
I
West
gotta go there.
Virginia.
Yeah.
That's his
These are
base.
facts.
Right. You start going parts of Pennsylvania. I've driven through parts of Pennsylvania and I'm like, I need to have a shotgun across my lap.
No,
just
just
in case.
lock the doors and go.
I mean, it's those people aspire and everyone should aspire to do great things for themselves and their family, but they aspire to things that they will never reach. So the closest that I can get is to idolize somebody who embodies what I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be able to talk tough and I want to get money.
That sounds like mental illness
But
to
you
me.
got to graduate,
But
like you
we
said,
can
you
dive
got
into
to
that
graduate
another
high
day.
school first.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't read your name in boxcar letters, but you're gonna sit up here and think that you're going to be, oh, I'm gonna have this great paying job where I can buy a house on the lake and a boat and this. And you can't. How?
I mean, the average
Because
American
somebody
can
is
afford
telling
that.
you that, but they used to be able to.
Back
Of
in the
course.
day. Yeah.
But it when we talk about the economy too, we have to talk about the bill that was passed. I won't
Ooh.
mention the moniker that they've given it because there's nothing beautiful about it. All told, and these are preliminary estimates, it's going to increase our deficit anywhere from $3 to $4 trillion over a course of 10 years. And that's the thing that I found interesting is the length of it over 10 years. A lot of the cuts and stuff that they put in the bill, they're not even going to take effect for a couple of years. And they did that strategically because they said to themselves, if we lose the House or the Senate, this will still go in. So even if the
Play the
Dems take
long
it
game.
over, boom, there you go. Plus, a lot of people who voted for it, hey, I might not even be here, so you can't blame me. I'll be gone.
I mean, at this rate, they might not. You're going to lose your health
legacy.
insurance.
Nobody cares about legacy. I'm doing for everything for right now.
I wish I had my cha-ching money button today. Sorry, guys.
See,
I messed
why?
up.
Because we ain't got none.
They going to have it, though. I keep saying the legacy is their legacy.
So can
everybody else.
Can we agree that the legacy for the Trump administration is going to be greed?
Fair.
Always has
I would
been.
say greed/recession. You got to bottle them both in.
Well, we have to look, and I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to put negativity in that.
Speak your mind, my good sir.
See,
Okay,
there
we
go.
So, first administration, nobody, things were not great financially, economically. It just wasn't great.
What grade would you give it?
I would have gave it a C minus.
Okay.
Until 2020. So you have to remember the last year of last year, because it didn't come out till January 2021. So the last year of the first administration was marred by something that is generational.
People was drinking bleach.
It was a and in the midst of people dying from a communicable disease, we had racial unrest, we had protests, and we had all these other stuff happening on top of watching our loved ones die.
I'm still in therapy.
But you remember he was like, this the lowest gas prices ever been.
Okay. Because nobody was going anywhere.
Was scared.
I had cheap gas.
I mean,
sit in the window waving at your neighbors.
You got
gas is
and
cheap.
literally, and we all saw this. We saw people pumping gas in hazmat suits. It was
at Walmart in a hazmat suit.
You at the grocery store, they only letting in 5 people at a time. I mean, this
Walmart.
was a whole
stay
different,
30 feet away from each other.
Yeah, this was a
I like
different.
That rule, though.
Yeah,
too
that
close
I was,
to me
I
at the
was
checkout.
Okay with that.
I like that.
I was okay with people avoiding me. You ain't no talking in the grocery store. I was okay with that. So I say that to say, here we are in the second administration, and things are starting out, and it's not looking good. What's going to happen? We're not even a year in. What's going to happen year 2, 3, and God forbid, year 4?
I think it's going to be a lot of sticker shock. You're already seeing, tons of people with buyer's remorse, which we all agree that's laughable. If I see another video of somebody crying, talking about, I didn't know, well, now you do.
I don't. I don't even pay attention to those people.
Let's talk about the domestic policy, because that is something that I think that's where we can put immigration in. So, Carl, what's your take on the domestic policy as far as it relates to immigration and what he's doing with that?
Again, he's a fearmonger because he's put all the blame of anything financially negative with the country on the back of illegals.
And Biden.
And well, Biden let the illegals come in.
Missing.
So
that was
so
his
if
master plan.
it wasn't for all of these people flooding our borders from, not just from Mexico, but the way he talks, from Canada too.
Yeah, they get on them jet skis apparently. And
These
mosey on over to Michigan.
these wild Canadians that are coming in and
No, you
taking
can't
over
trust them.
neighborhoods.
When did that happen?
But you've made it so that that's what's wrong with this country, and that's why we don't have jobs. That's why we don't have, safe streets, because they're all criminals, as well. So what he's been able to do with that is start mobilizing, not only ICE, but the National Guard.
Okay.
So you started to create a police state, and you had to create that fear in order to create this police state. Now,
but see, and I want to say something real quick. He made that the whole push for, immigration, one of his campaign promises. Okay. So I say to myself, how is this putting more money in my pocket by you, kicking out people who are here illegally, non-criminals? Which is what if you look at the statistics, most of the people that have been rounded up are non-criminals. But he's talking about, the rapists and the murderers and this, that, and the third. And now, he talked about the wall in his first administration, and nobody, man, get out of here with it. He's put money in this bill, billions for the wall.
Yeah, they're going to paint it.
They're going to paint it black.
They already started because it's going to be hot.
All right.
So you can't climb it because it's going to be so hot.
Yeah. And tell me how that's going to work out.
Because the science is behind it.
Exactly.
But that's a lot of money for that paint. But I digress.
No,
continue on.
Because it's all part of this. Because when you start talking about the money that he's put behind it and how does it benefit, one of the things is become an ICE agent.
Oh, let's talk about the benefits.
They're getting, what is it, $30,000 or $50,000 bonus or whatever?
They're getting bonuses. They can make up to their first year. They can make up to $120,000.
And your college is paid for it.
So when was the last job you had where you had to wear a mask? Because why the ICE agents wearing masks?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because that's how I was going to get to that too.
Let me think about that and I get back to you.
Again, you spoke to rounding up people and getting them out of here. Prior to, and this is the, people don't talk about it because he was so, applicable and jovial. But prior to Trump, Obama,
thank you,
deported more.
What was that man's
illegal
nickname?
The Great Deporter, wasn't it?
No, it was the Deporter in Chief.
Deporter in Chief. That was it.
And I think that's where it came from.
And he, but it was so quiet, and it was quiet, but it wasn't quiet. But he also stated in his campaign he wanted to create a legal pathway for people to become citizens. And if people did, I'm talking about Obama.
Yeah, but what happened?
Well, it didn't work out. There were some things in Congress that were preventing that from happening.
Some people.
Red people.
There you go. So, okay, we're going to start deporting people. Fine. Obama did not, and if I'm wrong, somebody would bring it up, I'm sure, very quickly, but he did not take a child away from their parent.
No.
He did not go into a taqueria and just start rounding up people and shipping them off to Florida, and then naming a camp Alligator Alcatraz.
There you go.
Oh, let's talk about Alligator.
Now
there were not masked people roaming the streets, armed, telling you got to come with me. Because what is that?
I think that the mask thing, though, because
you
think about it with the mask thing. This is just my opinion of it. They don't want people to know who they are.
Absolutely.
Because if you know that there's Johnny,
absolutely,
then you know Johnny's family.
Absolutely.
And Johnny's family is in harm's way now. Because I doubt very seriously if the family members of ICE agents are out telling people, my dad works for ICE. Because he's not coming to school on career day. That's
Why
not?
Happen.
No.
And the problem with that
they got uniforms.
Okay. You're going to urban areas most prevalently doing this.
Yeah, lower income, lower
Lord. Okay.
working class.
When do you see somebody walking around the hood with a mask on?
Well,
Prior to ICE.
but here's what I think is going to
I don't
happen.
know.
At some point, there's going to be an incident.
There's going to be several incidents.
And, I'm not saying anything about our people, but we have been oppressed for over 400 years, and there's certain things that you don't want to push our buttons on. I'm just saying, because I think when you look at the mass deportations that they're doing, interestingly enough, they're shipping them to these other countries, and in some instances, these aren't even the countries these people are from.
No, just get them out.
But you talk about saving money, they're paying these countries to house these people that we're saying. Uganda, they paying them to house these people. And nobody is talking about the amount. I don't know what the amount of money is, but it ain't small change.
And how are these people being treated? We don't monitor that.
Deplorable.
Why would we? You out the U.S. So I ain't got nothing for you. You talked about, Carl, the National Guard and creating a police state. One of the things that we see, because we're not stupid, is the majority, let me say that, let me correct myself, all of these cities that he's put in the National Guard, they're all Democrat-run cities. They're all blue states.
I'll give you better than that. The cities all have black mayors.
There you go.
Ooh. I
So,
wonder if that's a coincidence.
but and none of them have said, hey, we need some National Guard troops over here. Because it's so bad. Because the latest city is Memphis.
And we're not going to speak to...
That's where I think you might have some.
Well, the crime in these cities, okay, it's happening, it's violent crime. You're speaking to violent crime in these cities. You're not speaking to the conditions that cause the violent crime. So what we're going to do is we're going to add more police. Now, the cities themselves say they don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
The people that surround those cities say, yay, that's the best thing you can do. Because, again, a police state, keep those people there. Keep those people in control so they don't come out to my area. Which we typically don't.
No.
Typically, urban areas, of course, crime
you
is
got
crime.
that line of demarcation. It's like North and South Korea.
Yeah, it's like...
Oh, don't cry. Oh, boy. That's
crime.
quite a line.
But,
that's quite a line.
These are all, invisible borders, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, oh, we're going to send the National Guard to Washington, D.C., so we're going to, stop this crime. Are you really going to stop the crime? Or are we just going to take it somewhere else? The killing, no, I'm not going to go out in the street and shoot somebody when I see a soldier down the street. I'm not going to go out in the street and shoot somebody when I see a police officer down the street.
If I'm grimy, though, I can
Depends
sit there.
on what
I
color
can wait
you
you
are.
out. Y'all ain't going to be here forever.
Wait you
Y'all ain't
out.
going to be here forever. As soon as y'all leave, let's go.
Do you think that robberies, like home invasions, have been limited? Do you think drug dealing has been limited? I don't.
They working smarter, not harder.
What
There
they
you
talk
go.
about, what they'll say is, it hasn't been, and I know there was one of the stats, it hasn't been a shooting in Washington, D.C., and this was whenever this was, in like 10 straight days. And before that, it was, and I'm like, there you go. Are we celebrating this? Are we celebrating normalcy?
But you know what?
They're going to put a sign outside D.C.
That's good, actually, for us, because I was talking to a buddy that stays in Canada, just to bring up a little, and we was talking about, the shooting we had this week. And we was just joking, like, yeah, it's pretty bad over here. And I was like, we have school shootings all the time. And they was like, man, I think in the last 50 years, speaking for Canada, there was like, I don't know, a dozen in 50 years, school shootings, which is bad in itself. How many have we had like the past two? I don't know, like
this
a
year
couple
alone, it's been
100.
in the 40s, I think.
And I'm thinking,
I
think last year was 200 or something. It was almost every day.
Yeah, so you take our good old neighbor with what'd you say, the crazy Canadians we gotta watch out for?
They wild, man.
Well, look at the violent statistics over there.
So two things. I'm gonna jump back to our friends on the Supreme Court and tie that into ICE.
Yeah, I got an ICE one for you too.
We talking about rounding people up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Supreme Court says in their latest ruling
Oh, yeah.
that if you are a Spanish-speaking person or some other language, but we'll say Spanish for this, you can be subject to ICE detention.
I don't speak Spanish.
But what if you did?
Never, don't know a lick of it.
But what if you did? Any of us.
You bet say you don't know Spanish, Carl.
Born and raised in Detroit. I don't have any Latino, Hispanic ancestry as far as I know. But as far back as I've traced it, I haven't done the Alex Haley roots test, but as far back as I can trace it.
Ain't no Carlitos.
No. However,
What's Carl short for? Wait a minute.
Did you have Spanish in high school?
Yep. Oh wait,
know
I should deny that now. But
well, I know
I
you
may
did not have Spanish in high school. So what if we all had, just excelled in our Spanish classes?
Fluent.
What if we turn the subtitles on?
We go to, in Detroit, we go to Southwest Detroit. We walk in a restaurant, walk in a store, and we have a conversation with Consuela or Manuel. ICE can say, all y'all coming with me.
That's messed up.
And I say,
just
wait a
wanted
minute.
taco.
Hey, man.
You start speaking the Queen's English. Then.
Right. Hey, doesn't matter. Now, after they ship me off to Uganda, and I'm there for 6 to 8 months, and they say, oh, my fault, we cleared you. You can go back home now.
But then
It's okay.
You ain't got no family.
And it's okay.
Nobody.
It's okay. Oh, and basically you're going to get my fault.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're going to fly you back, though.
Or they'll victim blame. Well, you probably shouldn't have been.
You shouldn't have been there.
Well, Consuelo was illegal.
You
was hanging
Spanish.
around by nationals.
You American. You should speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Speak American.
Yeah, speak American.
And then looping back over to the Mexican issue, we were talking about the financials. I just wanted to do a quick fact check since we were talking about the money from ICE and the money that goes out. Just a quick headline, because we know a lot of those people that get deported are leaving, right? It's like you going to Uganda, but another place they're going to prisons in El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you do have, when there's that one ICE raid that captures like one murderer and 55 other innocent people at the bar.
Success.
So they got the murderers off the street, but guess what? You taking, one convicted felon from Mexico and then a guy that works at a hotel, and they both going to an El Salvadorian super maximum security prison. But the cool part about it, we was asked about the money. They get paid for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't find a head count, but Stats and News show Trump paid El Salvador. Guess how much he paid them to take our immigrants? Just guess. It's not per person. It was just
50 million.
Oh no, you a little high. You high.
Okay.
You high, very high. 5 million just to take them and put
That's
them in
just
that
those
jail.
though.
Yeah.
So it may be some more.
That's just one.
Look,
that's just
that's
one.
5 million US. So that means it's 50 million El
Pesos.
Salvadoran.
Cha-ching. But still, if that's just one situation, because they're going other places, they're going to Cuba and so on and so forth. Uganda, we don't know what's going over there, but we're paying out money to get the people out. So that's your money.
They don't talk about that. And that goes back
our
to
money to do it.
Congress controlling the purse strings. They take all these taxes out of our checks. So basically you like to say, well, this is my money. You supposed to manage my money.
And that's where it's going.
But they don't care. This is what.
But when you're managing my money, what am I getting for it?
I just told you, part of your taxes went to El Salvador.
But what am I? And that's the thing. For
you
people,
safe, ain't you?
Am I?
I hope
I'm telling you are.
You're telling me I am.
Exactly. Just take it.
You're
We
telling
had
me
no break-ins in the trailer park. I mean, I'm
but
good.
I can't send my kids to school.
And you just cut my food stamps.
Medicare,
So what we gonna do about that?
Medicare, Medicaid, all of that's gonna be out the window.
Right.
People still in 2025 still don't know the difference between the Affordable Health Care Act and Obamacare.
Nope.
So
that dang on Obama.
They know he's getting rid of Obama, and that's what this is all
That's
about.
what it is. That dang on Obama.
That
I don't want no
that
Obama.
Black Muslim
Negro.
And what I sent y'all to before, when people were so mad about the Obama phones, and then I saw it was a Trump phone coming out. They're like, we about to get the Trump phone. What's the difference? It's still a government funded phone.
His is probably gold plated.
It'll rub off.
Made in China.
Oh.
Yeah, and the gold will rub off in your hand.
Oh. Well, I mean, Yeah, it might be a little cooler. I guess the Obama phone was just the phone.
You know what? There's
Obama
that,
didn't have shoes though.
or cologne and ties and Bibles. So
He
yeah,
had that khaki suit.
I thought it looked nice.
He was clean.
Foreign policies. So I look at how I saw something with the Pentagon, and it kind of ties into foreign policy where they have prioritized a national defense strategy here locally in the U.S. as opposed to combating who? China, Russia. So they putting all this focus here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
when you should be thinking about these people out here that don't necessarily like us. At which point, that's growing. We used to have a whole bunch, a lot of allies.
I think
Is
we're
Canada
losing.
considered our ally still? Probably
Mm,
not.
I mean, if something jumped off, we
You
share a border, so we
you would like to think.
yeah,
Forcibly.
forcibly.
We'll have to.
Yeah.
What about Germany?
That wasn't a cough. I laughed.
Well, I'm only saying that because, just based upon some of the things that he's done, for instance, he wants the US to pull out of NATO. And NATO has been around for decades. And it's a bunch of countries that share some of the same reasoning, some of the same values and stuff. And say, okay, we good. Something jump off, we got each other's backs. But he has made it almost an adversarial type relationship where a lot of these people are second guessing and they're like, well, yeah, because we already have a negative connotation, just being an American, because I'm not traveling overseas no time soon. But I know for, friends and family that have. My wife went to Africa a year before last. She said the cab driver was like, "What the hell are y'all doing over there?"
I would have said I'm from Canada.
So other and I think now where we used to be this picture of strength, the U.S., the greatest country in the world, there are a lot of people that feel sorry for us now because of the leadership that we have in this country. I don't think I personally don't like the fact that he is able to create these narratives and you don't have a lot of people that are pushing back on it.
Nope.
Because back to the Supreme Court, man, I don't know how this is going to shake out.
It goes back to what Brandon said earlier about mental illness, because I think that racism is a mental illness.
Taught.
All of these things that are happening, and Trump's not the problem. His administration is not the problem.
You think he's part of it?
No. The
He's a
problem
product of his
is
environment.
the problem is the people who buy into what he's selling.
And empower it.
They are the ones that can push this agenda. You can have somebody come up to you and be as charismatic, and he's not. He's not a great speaker. He's not even charismatic. But they say neither was Adolf Hitler.
Vocabulary very limited.
They say he was not the most charismatic person, but what he did was he pushed the buttons of the people to say, I'm going to blame all these problems you have on the Jews.
Yeah, but Hitler's mustache, though, that was a topic of conversation when he walked in the room. I ain't seen nobody else rocking that. I'm just
See, here
that's
you
a
go.
sign of confidence.
Hey man, don't be not.
We do not endorse the
We do
views of
not
the Nazi
endorse-
party.
No, I'm just
Eugene
saying.
does not have a copy
Don't
of
know.
Mein Kampf in his house.
Right.
No, I can't even spell it. So,
But his whole thing, people that and I read an article about a journalist who went and interviewed him prior to everything jumping off in in what 42. I think they interviewed him, and they came back and said he is not an intelligent man. He's not, he's not great at all, but he's very dangerous because of what he thinks and how he's able to communicate that to the
that was a
downtrodden.
part. He could
because all you need is
communicate.
the ear
Yeah.
of the downtrodden. And once you get the ear of the downtrodden and the collective, then you can create a narrative and run
Yeah,
with
exactly.
And the downtrodden here aren't even really necessarily, his followers aren't even necessarily downtrodden. What they are, they're racist. And they saw this man get elected and go through 8 years with no scandals, no missteps, no
You
it
talking
was
about President Obama?
President Obama. He had not, and I'm not saying he was the greatest thing ever, and he's the
There's no
he's the
perfect
Messiah.
president.
He was a president, and he had an agenda, and he worked his agenda.
I don't think it was much
So-
economic turmoil.
Yeah, every and
I could be wrong,
you
but
know,
The hell, the
But-
bailout. That was historic.
it was
Well.
historic, but that's great. But he's still black.
and
And I
suit.
need
It's a
somebody.
nigger.
I need, for whatever you say, okay, well, I wish, I love Obama did this, but I wish he had done that as somebody who supported him. Everything that he did positively, people are going to say, well, he really didn't do that. Somebody else did it. Somebody else did it. And then somebody like Trump can come along and highlight things that he didn't do for you and say, well, I'm going to do those things. And because you want to believe it, you're going to say, yep. And then he's going to say, well, I'm going to make you great and we're going to be great again and yada, yada, yada. Why weren't we great before? Because a black man was in charge.
Hmm.
And I keep saying this over and over and over again. If you're racist, why don't you say it? What's going to happen to you if you do?
No, because they're cowards.
Here's a
Most
question. I don't know.
racists, aren't going to be overt with it. There are a few, and those are the videos you see where they just getting their butts whooped.
But say it. Even
It's like having a disease, I guess. You got it, but you don't want to say.
Well, James Brown had a saying, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
black and
Say
I'm
it loud, I'm racist, I hate you." Can you?
say it.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Say it with your chest.
Say
Oh.
it with your chest. And I don't care.
Yeah, life gonna go on.
Yeah.
I think that, there's still a lot of work to be done in that respect. I want to jump real quick to the one that we've all been alluding to, and that's Trump's net worth since 2024. Okay. Now, there are some conservative estimates. The lowest estimate, Carl, you mentioned, I think 30 billion. The lowest one I saw was 3 billion since last year, 2024. And what I did see, though, that no president in history has used this position to make more money than Trump. B, you talked about crypto. He got the crypto coin out, but the company, it's called World Liberty Financial. They're selling the Trump coin, and the Trump family gets 75% of each sale.
Oh yeah.
So they've gotten more than $1 billion from the sales.
What did you estimate that net worth at?
Yeah.
He said the low end was 5. I'm thinking 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, the estimate is 7. Estimate.
Because we haven't talked about the insider trading.
Yeah,
Excuse me. But,
Of course.
Oh,
And
that's not real.
But the thing with crypto too is he started rolling back those regulations, which they knew would help them out.
Pump
Absolutely.
and dump. That's what they call it.
Not to
folks.
mention the money that he's made from his various properties around the world where foreign dignitaries have stayed at. They don't even talk about that no more.
Yeah, what about that big airplane? How much that's gonna be worth when he got to get
Man,
rid of it?
Well, and we haven't mentioned this, and it's because this could be a show within itself, and I'm gonna leave that to some people that are more
Stay tuned,
experts
y'all.
at it. But the whole war in Gaza,
Yes.
because one of the things that he proposed was building a new Trump resort in Gaza.
Yep.
Basically,
on the Gaza Strip.
Basically, once we get rid of these pesky Palestinians who live here,
And all the
whose
demolition
land
is
and
done.
it's their land.
whose land this is,
And it's only about that big.
Yeah,
That's
hey.
what gets me.
don't matter.
That'd
We
be
got to
a
get rid of
great
them.
attraction.
And once we get rid of them, we're going to rebuild this, and it's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be so great, and all those
Big-
other little words that he
Big
uses.
and beautiful. The
you know.
best.
Adjectives.
Right, with his 4th grade vocabulary. And so you're looking at, okay, so are you backing Israel only because you're going to profit from this? Now, the United States and Israel, again, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole, we need to get, listen, we can have some experts on talk hours
Yeah, because
on the relationship between the United States and Israel.
they don't even
but-
talk about his son-in-law and all the crooked backdoor deals Jared has done.
all of this because, and again, it's not about legacy. It's about it's the money grab. Let's get this money right now so we can live and we'll be fine. Because, like you said, son-in-law, daddy here is dumb, but daddy has made it this far. You know, we've lived very well, but what we're going to do now is we're going to set ourselves up where we don't have to do nothing ever and continue to live this way. That's what this is all about, because we can't keep running business like daddy ran business, because it's not going to work.
Get it while the getting is hot.
Exactly.
So let me tie this in and ask this question. B, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that, especially over the last, let's say, 4 to 5 months, a lot of this, the things that he's done, i.e., ramping up the ICE raids, sending the National Guard into various cities, creating just havoc. Do you think this could be a distraction from what a lot of people are really zeroing in now? Namely, the Epstein files?
I think that's part of it. But like we were just talking about, it's also a big distraction for what's going on overseas.
Well, and I say that because
it's a lot of charades.
If you look at, because it recently came out that, what was it, back in, I think, April, they informed Trump that his name was in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
And he came out and said, I don't know what you're talking about, this, that, and the third. And more recently, they said his name was in a birthday book for Epstein.
I didn't write that letter.
And now they have produced a copy of the letter with his signature on the bottom. So every time they come and say something about Trump as it relates to Epstein, what does he do, Carl?
Starts he deflects, and he deflects.
No, what he did was he created the Department of War. That's what happened. Don't worry about that. We changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War
to what it was.
So you could say that, but honestly, he does so much random changes.
Daily.
Let's call it
daily.
Is it really just cover up, or is it just partial cover up and part of I can do what I want to do?
Well, I mean, they're letting him too. I think one of the things that I was thinking about too, Carl, we're talking about SCOTUS, and even though, you know, they've ruled in his favor a lot, there's one case that he didn't, because remember the case in New York, they overturned it, that $500 million that he was supposed to pay. Shout out to Letitia James, because she did her thing. She ain't had nothing to do with the courts overturning it. But the defamation suit, the $83 million that he had to pay the lady, that hasn't been overturned. Court of Appeal just said, you still owe this lady 83. So that's one bright spot, but I don't know if she'll ever get that 83 million.
Yeah,
nah, she gonna get stalled out to the end of time.
She won't. And here's the thing too about these Supreme Courts and these lower courts decisions, even in relationship to the Epstein files. So sort of, I'm gonna go back to my premise of, why don't you just say you're racist? What's going to happen to you? In this country, are we really out to protect children? Do we really, is it lip service, or do we really want to protect children? No. Because, as we said, we see school shootings all the time.
It's commonplace.
And what we've heard from the right is, it's just something we're going to have to live with. We gotta live with it. Okay.
They don't do that in Berlin, or I can go down the list, but yeah.
So there's no, you start saying stupid stuff like, well, teachers need to be armed, and we need to have one door that everybody comes in and out of.
When y'all was in kindergarten, did you see a pistol on your teacher hip?
And I wouldn't want to have one.
I saw a belt. That was
I would not have.
No, I mean a gun, not a belt.
And that's the thing. So we don't provide adequate health care for children. We don't provide adequate daycare for children. We're cutting SNAP benefits, so they're not going to be able to get fed. We're cutting school lunches. So do we really care about children?
That sounds like a third world country, but
exactly.
Continue.
So saying that, if it was to come out that Trump was a pedophile and was running with Jeffrey Epstein, and they was doing all kinds of little bad things to little girl, is it going to be that bad?
Well,
would they say, you know what? These girls, were they really victims? Were they really? I mean, come on. I mean, she said she was
it's their
14.
family's fault that they didn't have money.
So
They shouldn't have sent her over there anyway.
That's
That's called gaslighting.
is that going to be really the thing? And I think right now what we're doing is stalling it out.
Yeah.
So that when it does pop up, either he's dead and they can say, oh, well, yeah, he did it, but he's dead.
Or he out of office.
Or we can say, well, it really wasn't that bad.
I don't know if I could see anybody publicly saying something like that. I think there's something to be said.
I think he's
though,
gonna blow some country up to like, well, look at that, we at war. Forget them kids.
and then
We at war.
and then next week, because you know the news cycle is not that long.
Mm-hmm.
It's something else. So he gonna just keep creating catastrophe after catastrophe.
Absolutely.
You're gonna go piss off Bibi Netanyahu, and we're gonna forget about the kids. Or Putin.
I don't know.
Or Kim Jong. He got his choices.
He does not want that Putin smoke. Because you are stupid if you believe that Putin has shown teetering. All his cards.
He is teetering. He just told NATO, stop buying oil from Russia.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's they golden goose.
Until Putin called him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Remember that file I got on you, Donnie?
Right.
Oh.
You and Epstein was over at the Kremlin too, but
we can't talk about that.
Fam, we gonna, leave you guys with this. We understand that we are in some trying times now. And, for whatever reason, people voted him back in office. I personally think it was some ish in the game, but that's my opinion. What we do like to say is that we do our best to inform you guys. You can have your opinion. We have our opinions. So far, this second time around with Trump has not been, what a lot of people thought it was going to be. We pretty much knew, but, that's us tooting our own horn. Thank you for being here. We want to tell you guys again, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the shows, share the shows, comment on the shows. And as always, we tell you this, stay prayerful, stay positive, stay patient, stay peaceful. See you guys next time.